Welcome back, folks, as we gear up for another round of winter weather here in the Midlands. This one, a lot different than what we experienced a couple weeks ago. We are looking at a threat of a pretty significant ice event. In fact, an ice storm. Typically, when you get about 1/4 of an inch of ice, that's what you begin to see criteria for an ice storm warning. And we are looking at anywhere from 1/2 an inch to an inch very easily. Of course, we want to know what you are doing to prepare. And one of the things that was one of the best tweets I saw that Paige Cooper retweeted, or Paige Coop retweeted, and there's a lot of hashtags out there. The one that's being universally used among meteorologists and emergency management for this storm is hashtag SE Storm. So please keep that one in mind, hashtag SE Storm. And of course, to let us know what you're seeing, how you're preparing for it, you can do hashtag Skywatch or tweet us at WatchFox. All the utility companies, if you're curious to follow them, SCE&G News, at Duke Energy, and of course the SCEMD is the South Carolina Emergency Management. And like I said, we certainly want to know what you are doing to prepare for this storm. All right, let's talk now about the temperatures out there. 43 degrees at Columbia Metro, Florence, already in the 30s in the upstate. We're not looking at this happening tonight or through parts of tomorrow, but by tomorrow night, that's when we're really going to begin to keep that watchful eye on things in the time frame that I'm very concerned about as well. Some light showers out there right now. Some areas have even seen a few flurries or sleet pellets reported mixing in with some of those light showers, but it's not amounting to much. We've seen the surface temperature, the roadways, the ground, fairly warm the last couple of days, and all of that is going to gradually change as we roll through the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's the bigger picture right now, again, with, as you can see, all that moisture that's intact. But by this time tomorrow night, we're going to be dealing with winter storm warnings in effect, likely seeing some more ice storm warnings issued and taking over for some of those winter storm warnings. Bottom line here is this is something that 1 degree makes all the difference between a rain event and an ice storm. And unfortunately, signs continue to point to that ice storm scenario for us, and likely getting a little bit of snow to blend in with this. Now, looking regionally, you can see, again, temperatures in most locations not cold enough to support winter weather, but that changes as the highs tomorrow will be in the morning hours and temperatures will gradually fall. So let's look at Future Watch, and as we roll through the day, you can see we get some shower chances by lunchtime. So tomorrow morning, I expect meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh to have the potential of some rain to talk about. And then as we go towards the 5 o'clock hour, well, I still think rain, and then a cold rain with some sleet mixing in by this time tomorrow night before we see a freezing rain event potentially by about 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. So when it's all said and done, I do think we will taper off with a little bit of snow, anywhere from about 1/2 an inch to maybe an inch in the metro area. I think areas north of us will get more than that, but this is the big concern here. This 1/2 inch to inch of ice, that adds a lot of weight to power lines and trees, and we're going to be dealing with some down power lines, down trees. That means power outages. So it's a good time to make sure your cell phones are charged, your iPads. If you have those portable rechargers that you can attach on, I know that I've seen a lot of those on the iPhones lately. Great thing to have, because when you deal with power outages, you still want to try and stay connected, and Twitter and social media is a great way to do that. And I want to break down really quick freezing rain. When the temperature is near the base of the cloud, that bottom of the cloud, or at or slightly above 32 degrees, well, that will melt that snowflake. But it falls as a raindrop, and when it hits the surface is at 32 degrees or colder, and it freezes on contact. So that's what we're talking about with freezing rain here, and that's what we're going to be watching closely, especially Wednesday. Down to 38 by 6 a.m., and the temperature is not really climbing during the day tomorrow. Look for those numbers to be in the 30s. We'll have a little bit of a mixture by late afternoon, again, some sleet blending in. But it's tomorrow night, Wednesday morning, and Wednesday really through the day, that we are most concerned with this scenario taking you through early Thursday. And then by the weekend, you forget about it. We start to warm up. But one of these scenarios that you're going to go through tomorrow, you're not going to see anything. You may have a few sleet pellets mixed in, but this is more of an event tomorrow night, Wednesday morning, a little bit of a break, and then again Wednesday in the afternoon. And ice is just not something you play with. I remember 1994, living through Ice Storm 94. No school for a week. We didn't have power. We were lucky. It was only for about 3 days. Some areas went 30 days or more without power.
Do you recall how much ice you guys had during that storm?
It was about, in some areas, just under an inch to over an inch.
Okay.
When you talk about an inch of ice,
Yeah.
that's devastating. Like, it
Very
doesn't matter what you
dangerous.
do to prepare for this. You could be in Chicago, Detroit. You can't pre-treat roads for this. You can't plow it. You have to have something to melt it and absorb it. And that's what is really going to be concerning as far as the roadways. And when trees topple and things like that, the crews have to get in there, shut the power lines off that are near there. Then they have to cut them up. Then they have to take down the broken lines and replace them. So it's a process.
So I take it you've been through this before.
I have been through this before. 1994, I remember well.
And you know, we were talking, I'm looking at the temperatures. It seems during the day we get above freezing. So will there be, you know, any relief at that point when it does get above freezing?
During the day, you'll get a little bit as far as what's falling, but you're already going to have, at some points, a layer of ice on the ground, and that's what's going to be concerning. So even if it starts to fall as rain, it doesn't matter. You're going to have ground and parts or ice on parts of the ground. And four-wheel drive does not mean anything on ice.
Yeah, exactly. That was my other thing too. Plus, you know, a lot of people, we get cabin fever after a while. You want to be
Yes.
careful because they may not be able to get to you if something happens to you if you slip outside on some ice.
Exactly.
Just
So
be
please make
careful
sure,
and stay in.
non-perishable food's a good thing to have as well, should you lose power and not be able to get out.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Henry.